Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Here it is, back again. This is my third show since my vacation was over, or has been over. And I spoke to my mother and my father. They're doing very well down in South Carolina. I'm so glad to hear that. My mother actually went out and purchased a puzzle to keep herself busy, because we have to always remember, maybe you as my audience wasn't aware of this, but my mother, even at her age, at 75, loves to walk the streets in Shirley, Mastic Beach, and Mastic. So for her to now sit around and have nothing to do for 2 weeks is something totally different. So now she is doing a puzzle and hopefully enjoying it. She comes home 2 weeks from today, and I'm sure she's glad for that. Today we are going to talk about the 5 signs of true emotional sobriety. As always, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Larry Geis from the Geis Academy. You can find him at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy is also to be found on the internet at www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach, a life coach, as am I. He will also work with you from your addiction to your recovery, hand in hand, step by step, concentrating just on 24 hours, just today, not dealing with yesterday, and definitely not predicting tomorrow. He will work today and today only, one day at a time. Call him at 516-485-2741. That's Larry Geis. And when you do speak to Larry, you tell him that you heard about him on the Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Give a shout out to globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Folks, they are continuously doing their home trial program. People are loving it. They're ordering frames. They're being shipped to their home. They open the box, and in the box they find the frames they ordered to try on, to show their loved ones, to show friends, to look in the mirror. Also in that box they will find a postage return label, so when they are finished looking at those frames, and they don't want to keep all of them, the ones they don't, they simply put in the box, put the label on the outside of the box, and ship it back to New York. Then, if you decided, or if they decided to keep some, the ones they kept now can be filled with their prescription. Can be filled with progressive lenses, can be filled with line bifocals, can be filled with transitions of photochromatic lenses. The lenses can be made thinner for the person. The lenses can be made polarized for the beaches, for their golfing. The lenses can be UV coated, the lenses can be anti-reflecting coating. All that is possible at globaleyeglasses.com. Let them focus on saving you money, and let me, with over 30 years in the optometry business, help you personally, like I have done to hundreds of you. Call me at 631-599-0218. Call me at 844-405-HELP. I will help you pick the right frame, the right lenses, to make sure that you get the personal touch of an optician, a board-certified optician with over 30 years, directly in your home through the telephone. Exclusively, after I help you, I will give you a code for free shipping. Just give me a call, I will give you that code, and that code can be used at checkout for free shipping anywhere here in the United States. Folks, globaleyeglasses.com. They are focused on saving you money. 5 signs of true emotional sobriety, folks. Our emotions are such an important part of who we are, and yet they can be our worst enemies at times, especially in recovery. The way we feel can decide how we handle situations and relationships when we don't have our emotions in check. And the chain of events we indulge in often result from emotional sensitivity and awareness. In recovery, it is important to develop your sobriety, and a vital piece that is your emotional sobriety. To most, emotional sobriety means your ability to properly perceive and experience and how to cope with the feelings created by what happens to you. Emotional sobriety means a lot of things, folks, and it presents itself in all sorts of ways. It is how we communicate with others, how we treat ourselves, and how we nature our growth through circumstances while maintaining our principles and doing the best we can to learn from our past mistakes. Here, folks, are 6 signs of true emotional sobriety, so you will be able to see the change that makes all the difference in your heart. Number 1 is acting on gratitude. Gratitude is something that we are often reminded is essential to our sobriety. But being truly grateful is not just saying you are grateful. It is acting upon that feeling by contributing to others or remaining accountable to our principles. Gratitude is an action and a real sign of emotional sobriety because it shows the willingness to step outside yourself and act on feelings and feeling appreciation. Number 1 was acting on gratitude. It's not just simply saying, I am grateful to have my family. I am grateful to have a job. I am grateful to have money in the bank. It is showing. It is actions speak louder than words. If you are truly grateful, show how grateful you are to your loved ones, to your friends, to your neighbors. Number 2 on the list is staying humble in conflict. Now, conflict, for so many people that are just beginning in recovery, can cause a stressor or a relapse. It is not easy to consistently show humility, and that goes for everyone, recovery or not. Pride and ego are very tricky, and they have a tendency of showing up when we least expect them to try and protect us from the things that we may disagree with or not understand, folks. To be humble when someone attacks you is especially difficult and shows that you have developed true emotional sobriety, because the ability to set aside pride and anger or fear to remain teachable or tolerant is a shining example of emotional growth. Don't act on your ego. It is so important, folks, that you are humble in conflict. Don't stumble, don't fall. Admit when you're wrong. Back down when you are wrong. Don't challenge people. Number 3 on the list. Service to recovery community. It takes a great deal of selflessness and emotional sobriety to know when you should be doing service and taking the time out from whatever personal situation you are experiencing to give back to the recovery community. You, my audience, if you watch me day after day, week after week, are in my community, my recovery community. And this is my service from my heart that I give to you in my recovery community. It is these videos, my websites, my walk in the streets and talking to people, my interviews on YouTube or any other television channel is giving back to my recovery community. The simple fact that you can recognize when you should be doing service and how it can change your feelings based off doing something for the good of a group or individuals can help you put more action into emotion sobriety beyond just showing gratitude or even staying accountable. Doing over and over, day after day for other people is paying back to society. Service can reach into our hearts and pull us out, and pull us up to whenever we start to feel like we are losing the emotional momentum. As simple as opening the door for an elder, bringing the garbage cans in for a neighbor whose garbage cans are rolling in the street due to the high winds, to as much as becoming a sponsor, becoming a big brother or big sister, to as little as, like I said, helping a neighbor. Number 4, staying accountable when you don't want to. Accountability is not always easy, but for people active in recovery with true emotional sobriety, it is easier because it is definitely healthy and necessary when working every day on evolving emotionally. When we pay respect to rules and expectations, we don't always want to, but we make sure to do it because we have made a commitment. It not only supports showing gratitude, but humility, because we put our personal feelings aside and to follow through. This can be especially difficult when we have to hold ourselves or someone we love accountable when there have been mistakes made. There is no reason why you can't admit your mistakes. Bow down to your mistakes, because you are truly, as I am, a human who will make mistakes each and every day. Number 5, honesty with apologies and amends. People in recovery should definitely take into consideration on a pretty regular basis the fact that we are not perfect. No one is. We all have made mistakes, and we should have, at some point in the process of recovery, began to make amends for the wrongs that we have created in our lives. With that in mind, true emotional sobriety means we keep the practice alive each and every day. We regularly accept responsibility for our actions, and we make apologies and amends when necessary. Emotional sobriety means letting go of anger, resentment, fear, and even in some cases our fondness for others who do the right thing. Last on our list is number 6, thriving through tough times. This is an important one, folks. Some people say life shows up. I personally believe life never goes anywhere. So when you notice an especially tough time in life has started to put added pressure on you, folks, it helps, like a bad breakup or a death of a loved one, for an example, it helps to strengthen your emotional sobriety by maintaining a positive perspective through it. Not letting the things that hurt you, confuse, or break your heart have dominion over your whole world is so important, because it teaches us how to cope with things that hurt most instead of our happiness falling apart. This is probably the most difficult, but most important, because this is when true emotional sobriety truly pays off. Sobriety can seem easy when we are on top of the world. When there are no trials or tribulations, no depression or stress, then we can feel safer and more confident. When the rain clouds roll in, things like strong footing on our principles and spiritual conviction will help us thrive, and emotional sobriety helps us do so without misery, because we are able to appreciate the opportunity to grow and to better understand the world we find ourselves in. Our hearts and our minds are exposed a great deal in recovery, and when our empty solution to cope with tragedy or stresses of life has been removed, we find ourselves more sensitive to the emotional compromises that tear us down in active addiction. Emotional sobriety is how we fit ourselves to feel for the first time with wisdom, understanding, and optimistic perspective that allows us to be the service to others and to growth and become empowered within ourselves. Knowing the pain will come and accepting it as part of the human experience instead of hiding from it or numbing ourselves helps us to discover, or I should say to rediscover ourselves again without fear, and to let more of that life experience into our hearts. Drugs and alcohol hide us from the feeling and from who we are. If you or someone you love is struggling with substance abuse or addiction, please call me at 844-405-HELP. That's 844-405-HELP. And if you don't want to speak one-on-one, verbally, you can text me at 631-599-0218, I should say. And if you want somebody with a lot of experience, over 30 years experience, get a hold of Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. 5 true signs of emotional sobriety. Number 1, again, is acting on gratitude. Gratitude is something that we are often reminded is essential in our sobriety. But being truly grateful is not just saying you are grateful, it is acting and showing that you are grateful. Number 2 is staying humble in conflict. There's going to be times each and every day that you might run into a person or a situation where you don't agree. That is when you need to act humble during the conflict. Don't let that conflict suck you back into substance abuse. Number 3 on the list is service to recovery community. It is so important that I do these videos, these episodes, each and every day to publish on YouTube for you folks, no matter where you're sitting and watching me, whether it's your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, in a homeless shelter or in jail, that you see that I want to continue give service to my recovery community, which is you. My service community are fellow people within the sobriety community that watch me each and every day, but yet I welcome new people each and every day, and there are probably some people that view me that have no substance abuse issues, but might have family members that utilize my videos as an educational tool. Over 17 rehab centers throughout the United States and Europe now utilize some of my videos as training or educational videos within their own websites. This is called service to my recovery community. This is how I pay back to you. Number 4, staying accountable when you do not want to. We all of us have ego issues. I, for one, have learned that when I make a wrong move, a wrong decision, that I need to own up. I need to stand up as a man and admit that I am wrong. Back when I was drinking my vodka each and every day, I would always deny, whether it was as simple as maybe bring out the garbage at the wrong time, to where I was going, to the fact that I was an alcoholic. Always denied. I needed to stay accountable, and it's been that way now for over 2 years. Number 5 is honesty and apologies and amends. There are times, guaranteed, if you were or if you had substance abuse or you're in recovery now, there are people that you have hurt in your life, and it is now, today, if you have not done so, to make amends, to apologize. Now, I always say, caution, never ever go to a person that you've hurt so bad to make amends with that person. That might increase the hurt. That might open a can of worms. Sometimes, I personally feel it is better to leave well enough alone. But for the simple things that possibly you have hurt a person, that a simple "I am sorry, I made a mistake" could heal that relationship between you and that person. It is so important. Number 6 on my list is thriving through the tough times. You are going to face challenges each and every day in life. Challenges that might want you to go back to drinking or snorting crack or smoking pot. It is those times that you need to thrive through them, and don't let them bring you down, because you have to remember how far you've come to this point. I have come for over 2 years to this point. I'll be damned if I let any situation in my life tear me down. I would rather, I don't even know what I'd rather do, because it sounds silly. I'd rather die before ever drinking alcohol again. But that's how I truly feel in my heart, because I have brought myself to this point where, God forbid, if I die tomorrow, people will remember me as the person that has found change in life. Folks, if you or anyone in your life has a substance abuse problem, reach out to me. You can personally call me at 844-405-HELP. You can text me at 631-599-0218. You can get a hold of Larry Geis at 516-485-2741. We are all here as crutches for you to lean on. Folks, please start today remembering that it's so important to admit, break down that wall of denial that you have a drug or alcohol problem if you have one. And you need to reach up to the Almighty God and ask for guidance and direction. I haven't used this analogy in a long time, but your body is like a ship, a vessel. The world is the big ocean, a rough ocean. But yet your body, your vessel, you don't have any navigation. Your boat is all over the world, all over this ocean, just hitting all the waves and flipping over possibly, but just getting back up in time. You need to reach for navigation. Put navigation in your vessel, into your boat, and who better than God to be your navigator? Reach out to God and say, God, I need guidance and direction. Admit you have a problem, and you will see that that boat, you, your body, will go through the ocean, the world, so much smoother. There is no wave that can knock you down if you have the presence of the Almighty God in your life. The analogy sounds corny. People might think that, but that's the only way for me to describe the fact that you as a vessel, because that's all your body is a vessel, have no control possibly of what goes on in the world, but God can control you. God can make your vessel go through any rough ocean. Teach your children to say no to drugs and alcohol, folks. Be the role model that you need to be. When your kids look at you, they look at you as their hero. It is now, today, about time that you start acting like their hero, their role model. If you really start thinking positive thoughts each and every day, you will see positive results, I promise you. They will not come immediately, but they will come. It is a matter of you thinking positive, positive, positive. If there are negative people in your life that will try to suck you down into the negativity of their own life, stay away from that. Folks, remember that a sober today, I promise you, will make a better tomorrow. And if you do sobriety 24 hours at a time, today only, give me today, 24 hours of no drugs, no alcohol. I promise you tomorrow morning when you wake up, you will start a sober day again, and then you repeat that pattern over and over. Every 24 hours, eventually you will hit a week, a year, a couple of years. And your life, with all the positive thoughts that you have now started to do or to think about, will show financial gains, will show emotional gains, spiritual gains, relationship gains. All that will happen. But it starts with you. Folks, I hope to God, wherever you might be right now, that you have the best day of your life. But I really hope and I pray that wherever you are, you have a sober day and a sober rest of your life. And may God bless you.